I know that today has already been quite a long day, so I hope you're still in the mood for a couple more minutes learning about a new country that I think hasn't been talked about yet today. So, as I was already very properly announced, my name is Francisco, and I'm the director of one of the companies called Up Partners. And we belong to a bigger group called Vermilion Group. So we'll be talking a little bit about the other companies that are not here today, just so that you understand what else we do, and hopefully some of them might also interest you. So just for you to understand, we are a group of 5 companies. We're here to talk mostly about the premium student and a partner, so I'll leave that for afterwards. But we also have our physical and online school called Open Learning School, which has a bit of an outside-of-the-box style of teaching. So basically for kids that don't really like the normal style of teaching inside of classroom, we take them outside of the classroom and we try to make it as interesting as possible to focus on what they really like to learn. So this is a bit of an outside-of-the-box style of teaching. We also have Simple Master, which is another online school that focuses on teaching Portuguese to foreigners. As I'm sure I'll talk a little bit more about that later. As part of the Portuguese citizenship application, you do need to fulfill Portuguese language requirement, but unlike other countries, ours can actually be done through an online course. So this company focuses solely on that. And then we have MyCilic, which is the only company which is a bit different from everything else, because we don't focus on immigration or teaching. It's actually a health sector company. So we actually develop the products that helps patients that have neurodegenerative diseases like Parkinson's, Alzheimer's. We actually have a pill that targets the root of these diseases, which we found out to be intestine infection. So by attacking that infection, it actually lowers all the symptoms. Unfortunately, it doesn't cure the diseases, because unfortunately these are still uncurable diseases, but at least they help maintain the life conditions. And we actually have some people that started taking this product with us, and after 10 years of not being able to walk and being in a wheelchair, they've started giving their first steps again. So this has been a fantastic process. Obviously, we then have all the support system and all the other support mechanisms to help our companies. And I'll already run through this because I already explained a little bit about all of the other companies. So speaking about Up Partners, first of all, why should you choose Portugal over all the other countries that I'm sure you already heard about today? We are one of the safest countries in Europe. And actually, on this note, we are on the most western part of Europe, for those who don't know our country very well. Unfortunately, there are some conflicts happening right now in the Middle East and in Eastern Europe, as I'm sure you know of. We are far away from all of that, on the other side of Europe, so we avoid all of these issues. And we are still one of the easiest routes to obtaining a Portuguese passport. So even though I'm sure you've heard, or some of you have heard, that a few weeks ago we increased the number of years necessary for the Portuguese citizenship, we still are one of the only programs in Europe that will lead you straight to a European passport without any conditions or possibilities. We have a great education and health system. Actually, we have public education and public health system, which with our program, you get a residency card that will enable you to utilize them for free. Obviously, we still have private sector for both of these sectors, which you can also access. And actually, on the health-related part, we actually have a lot of health tourism right now to Portugal, because we are considered one of the best health systems in Europe. And obviously, Portugal is also becoming more and more a great business hub. Especially Lisbon is becoming very popular for startups and other companies as such. So there's always business to be made there. So what's our concept? So basically, we are a one-stop shop for investors. What does that mean? It means that by talking to us, you don't really need to speak to all the other agents that will be involved in your process. So we will help you through the investment part, but we will also help you with your legal part. So by coming to us, you can do it all with us without having to speak to all these different people that will be involved. We are directly partnered with a lot of immigration agents, investment funds, donation partners. So that means that we are unbiased. So when we will give you our advice is actually what we believe to be the most interesting for you, because we don't have any sort of commission interest towards a specific project. So we will actually give you the most unbiased support that we can do. We are relocation experts, so that means that we can also help you if you're planning to move to Portugal, physically move there. We can help in finding a house, any other aspects regarding it, so having you have private health insurance or anything that you need in Portugal. If you want to do a tour around Portugal, we can help you with everything. And we are very personalized. So basically, we will always adapt your situation to our services. That's how we work. What makes us different from the rest is how we proceed with our clients. So we are centralized. That means that when you choose to apply for a process with us, you will always be speaking with myself. So I will be your first point of contact. I will be always the face of the company. Obviously, we have a whole team working on the back, but I will be the point of contact. So that means that you will not have a lot of people sending you emails and asking you for meetings. And yeah, we work with all the funds and all the lawyers that they are in Portugal. So again, we give you as unbiased contact as possible. And what we also do, unlike other companies, is we actually can diversify your investment, meaning that you don't have to do the full investment that I will speak to you right after this slide in only one fund. We can actually divide your investment to make you more diverse and to lower the risk of that same investment. So what are the different services that we offer? The main service that I've been talking to a lot of you today is the Golden Visa, which is our residency by investment program, which in Portugal, there are two main routes to obtain it. One is through investment, direct investment through investment funds, which has to be in the minimum amount of 500,000 euros. And the other is through a donation. So this is a non-money back. So a donation of 200,000 euros. So these two options can lead you to a Golden Visa. But then there's also all sorts of other visas that are eligible to be owned. But the Golden Visa has this extra perk that you only need to be in Portugal for 7 days per year to maintain your residency, whilst all the other visas, you do have to be in Portugal for a minimum of 9 months per year, or just about 9 months per year, to be able to renew it. So there's also visas for people who want to start their companies there, or for if you have a passive income, that's also an option, or digital nomads, if you have active income, but you're allowed to work from overseas, that's also a reason for you to be able to relocate. And then we help you with all the relocation and concierge, which means anything that you need in Portugal, we will also provide, like picking you up from the airport or anything like that. As I mentioned before, there are two main types of possibilities to obtain the Golden Visa, but actually there's more than that. Even today, this morning, I was speaking with one potential investor outside that he wanted to start his own company in Portugal. And actually there's an option. If you want to start your own company with at least 10 full-time jobs, that's also a possibility for a Golden Visa. Actually, this slide is already slightly outdated because it does say that the minimum contribution for the donation is 250,000, but actually nowadays is 200,000. So it's even lower, the amount that we have there. In terms of the Golden Visa timeline, so it's a 5-year process, and this has not changed, unlike some misinformation that has been going on in some forums. The Golden Visa itself has not changed. What has changed is the pathway to citizenship. But basically, this is how it works. So in year 0 is when you make your investment, and the first card you will receive is a 2 years resident card. And then at the end of the second year, you will be renewed for another 3 years. Actually, there's no longer the year 4. So you start the second year, you straight away get another resident card, which is valid for the remaining 3 years. The only commitment is, as I said, you need to be 7 days per year in Portugal. And if you have done the investment route, you need to maintain your investment in Portugal for the full 5 years. At the end of the 5th year, you will be applying for a permanent residency, which is valid for another 5 years. And at the end of that, so after 10 years, you can apply for the citizenship. But in all these 10 years, even with a permanent residency, you only need to be in Portugal for 7 days per year if you are applying through a Golden Visa. If you are applying through any other visa, you do need to stay in Portugal for about 9 months per year, okay? So these are my contacts. In case you want to know a little bit more, or if this is something that may be interesting for you, please get in touch. I have my email and my phone number, and I would love to discuss this with you. We'll be here for the rest of the day today and all of the day tomorrow, so you can find us in the next room. I'll pass this on now to my colleague Carlos, who will tell you a little bit more about our student mobility company as well. Thank you so much.
A little bit taller. Good afternoon, everyone. So I'm here to speak about Premium Student, that it's an academic mobility company. So we've been discussing real estate, investment funds, immigration pathways, and golden visas, all key pillars of international mobility. So today I'd like to briefly shift the lens, because behind every investment, every golden visa, every relocation strategy, there is something much more fundamental, a family future. At the center of that future, almost always, is the next generation, not the assets, not the structures, but the children who will carry that vision forward. In many cases, it is not the investment that defines the success of international mobility. It's the ability of the next generation to integrate, adapt, and thrive in a new environment. Education, therefore, is not just a service. It is a strategic entry point into a new country, a bridge between cultures, and often the first real anchor a family builds abroad. At OK Student, we operate at this exact intersection, where academics mobility meets long-term global positioning. Because the real risk is not whether a family can invest internationally, the real risk is whether their children are truly prepared to live, grow, and succeed in that new reality. The Premium Student Program was created to address precisely that, to transform a student's journey abroad into a structured, confident, and successful integration process, aligned with the family's broader international ambitions. For all of you working with global families, this is where strategy becomes complete, when investment, immigration, and education are aligned in one coherent vision. So let me show you how we bring this vision to life. If you want to know a little bit more, and au contrary from the company that my colleague represents, we are a global company, so we can help students to study abroad in any country of the world, coming from any country of the world without frontiers. So if you want to know more, we are going to be available in the other room to take any doubts that you can take. So thank you for being present, and thank you for this moment.